Many years ago, before she learned how to smile through betrayal, before her voice grew steady from pain, Ndidi was just a soft girl from Enugu, the kind of girl who liked rain more than sun, who wrote poems at the back of her biology notes, who believed love should be quiet, patient, and full of kindness. She didn't believe in love at first sight until she met Chuka. Chuka was loud, sharp, full of gist, the kind of man who sprayed perfume like he was fighting spiritual warfare. Chuka was from Anambra. He had a consultancy firm. They had met one rainy afternoon. Didi was returning from a job interview when it abruptly started raining. Chuka was driving. He sighted her running from the rain and stopped close by. "Let me drop you, fine girl. The rain no suppose touch your skin." She wanted to say no. She didn't like entering boys' cars anyhow, but something about his voice was warm. That was the beginning. From the ride, they exchanged numbers. Chuka was funny, witty, and outgoing. He made Didi laugh each time they spoke on the phone. He was loud outside but gentle with her. He made her feel seen. Maybe this is what they mean by your person, she told herself. She told her roommates about him. "He talks too much, but I like him like that." In less than a year, Chuka had proposed to her in a small diner, kneeling like it was a movie night. Ndidi was over the moon excited at first. Chuka was everything she prayed for. He bought her a phone one time, took her to Ibom Tropicana during her birthday, even rubbed her back whenever menstrual cramps turned her into a dragon, and he was very generous. After marriage, things were smooth. Chuka remained an attentive provider, a caring and loving husband. He told Ndidi to stop looking for work. "I make enough," he said. "I'm sure it will be enough for both of us." At night, he would hold Ndidi's hand and whisper, "I'm grateful, Ndidi Amaka. You truly complete me." And she would look at him and think, "God really gave me my own." Her friends envied her. She always shared about how amazing Chuka was until 2 years later, after the arrival of their first baby, they started noticing cracks. At first, he put a screen lock on his phone, and then he stopped posting her pictures on his WhatsApp status. He started coming home late in the night. He would come back looking very tired, smelling on different strange colognes. She tried to convince herself, maybe he's just very tired. Maybe his work is stressing him. Maybe I'm even overthinking this thing sef. Until that day, he was in the bathroom. His phone buzzed. She wasn't even trying to check anything, just wanted to plug the phone so it would charge. And then she saw it. Had phone last night, Daddy see. Her heart stilled. She stared at the message like it was written in fire. Her mind flew in different directions. Chuka had come home really late last night. He acted really tired. She even had to massage his back and legs. She dropped the phone and walked slowly to the kitchen, opened the fridge and stood there, holding a bottle of water with trembling hands. Daddy see. That night, Didi confronted him. Chuka cried, real tears. He knelt down, said it was one wrong mistake, that he would never do something like that to her ever again. He slept in the parlor for a week, kept buying her suya every single night, and prayed during devotion like one of the 12 disciples. She eventually forgave him because she still loved him, because she didn't want her child to grow up in two houses. But then came the second time. He had mistakenly left his phone unlocked after receiving a call and rushed to get something from the room. Didi, who was sitting by his side, took the phone, and there in his gallery, she saw photos, not one, not two, a whole folder in a hidden gallery. Women she didn't know in different hotels, different shameless positions. When she confronted Chuka, Chuka didn't even seem sorry. Instead, he got defensive. He smiled, turned to her and said, "You don't even dress like you used to. You're always tired. You've changed, Ndidi. How do you expect me to be the same man, eh?" She sat at the edge of the bed, staring at him. In her mind, she said, "So it's not my fault you're cheating. Okay." But Ndidi still didn't go. This time not out of love, but out of duty, out of the lie she had been taught that a woman must endure. But something shifted that day and they never remained the same. On the outside, their home still looked beautiful. They still went to church, wearing matching outfits, still held hands together. Neighbors waved at them like they were couple goals. But inside, Ndidi had become a professional at pretending. Pretending not to notice the lipstick stain on his collar, pretending not to hear him whispering on midnight calls, pretending to be okay. But she was planning. One evening after they had dinner, Ndidi told Chuka, I'm tired of staying at home all day. And since you don't want me to go looking for jobs, I don't know if you can assist me to start a small business. I want to start baking. Chuka didn't even look up that night. He just kept scrolling on his phone. I've done research about baking and I don't know if you could support me with at least maybe 3 million so I can get some equipment. Start from home. I've already spoken to some customers and they are asking for samples. Chuka still didn't answer. He didn't even act like anyone was talking to him. He dropped his phone slowly and looked at her like she asked for his kidney. That night, he transferred 50,000 naira to her account. The narration read for upkeep. She stared at it for a long time. So the man who used to give her freely 300,000 naira weekly for upkeep. 1 week after that conversation, they saw a transaction alert on Chuka's tablet. 450,000 to someone named Sugar Baby. That night she cried in the bathroom, sat on the cold tiles with the shower running so no one would hear her. And that was when she knew. She was the married one but not the chosen one. She was present but no longer seen. She began to wait. Not for him, but for the perfect moment. The one that would make the whole world know that Ndidi was never a fool. It was on a Wednesday morning. The kind that starts off too quietly to be trusted. Chukwa was in an unusually good mood. He was even humming. Babe, he called out, please help me pack that navy blue suit, that one that makes me look like Dangote's cousin. Ndidi smiled softly from the bedroom. So you've upgraded from bringing his distant relatives to his cousin now? I have to look like money, Chuka said, zipping up his overnight bag. This tech conference is serious stuff. Big men will be there. I need to network. She didn't argue, even though everything in her told her that Chuka wasn't going for any conference. She laid the suit on the bed, ironed his crisp white shirt, folded everything neatly into the bag. Before he left, she handed him a small bottle of anointing oil. Just in case, she said, the world is dangerous. Rub some before you enter anywhere. He smiled and kissed her on the forehead. You always think of everything. God bless you, my beautiful wife. He hugged his son, promised to call when he landed, and waved goodbye like a man with nothing to hide. By 8 a.m., Ndidi had dropped the kids at school. She had made plans to meet her friend Choma. Choma had bought a car, and Ndidi insisted, you must take me out, oh. I refuse to be the only one trekking in this friendship. They decided to try a nearby hotel restaurant that Choma claimed had the best fisherman soup in town. As they pulled into the hotel, Choma suddenly gasped, wow, look at that car. Ndidi looked up. Parked right by the hotel entrance was a sleek black Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This car is easily over 100 million, Choma said, staring in awe. C-Class now. But Ndidi had gone silent. She was staring at the number plate. That's Chuka's car, she said slowly. Choma turned sharply. Are you sure? I'm very sure, Ndidi said. He told me he parked it at the airport before flying to Lagos. Both women exchanged a look. They stopped into the hotel lobby, and there he was, Chuka, standing at the reception desk laughing loudly. Two young women ran towards him. One leaped onto his back. The other kissed him on the cheek. He didn't pull away. He welcomed it. Ndidi's heart stopped. Choma, she whispered. That's my husband. Choma blinked. Are you serious? Are you okay? Do you want to stay here or you want to go home? No, Ndidi whispered. I'm just thinking, what do I do now? Call him, Choma said quickly. Let's hear what he says. Ndidi took a deep breath, walked out of the lobby quietly and went outside, called the number. On the third ring, he picked. Hey babe, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. How is the conference going? Fine, Chuka replied, sounding slightly breathless. Very intense sessions are going on here, but I stepped out to take your call. You know they don't allow phones inside. Oh wow, she said calmly. You're working so hard. Yeah. I'll call you later, okay? Love you, he said and quickly ended the call. Choma stared at Ndidi. Can you imagine? He's bold though. I need proof. Without hesitation, Choma took the phone stepped forward and began taking pictures. Chuka was laughing with the girls. They were heading upstairs. She took different positions and returned handing the phone to Ndidi. I got a lot of things. You can take a look. Ndidi stared at the pictures. Her heart didn't shake. Her face didn't move, but her eyes were hard. I've lost my appetite, she said quietly. I want to go home. Back home, she walked straight to the bedroom, opened her drawer and pulled out the spare key. Chuka had made a copy months ago after claiming that he had misplaced the original. She stared at it. Her face broke into a small, deliberate smile. If he thinks I'm a fool, she said, he's about to learn otherwise. She grabbed her handbag, tied her scarf and walked out of the house. At that point, the only thing on her mind was game on. Later that evening, after the children had gone to bed and the streets had quieted, Didi wore a black hoodie, jeans and slippers. She looked at herself in the mirror. This is not madness, she whispered. This is mathematics. 1 plus betrayal. She took Chuka's spare key, a small flashlight, and walked out of the house. Her heart pounded, but her steps were steady. She reached the hotel where she had seen the car. The security man had dozed off in his chair. Chuka's Mercedes was parked just where he had left it, shining like a trophy. She pressed the remote, the car chipped. No one moved. She opened the door, got in, adjusted the seat and drove out like she owned the world. Because that night she did. She drove to her auntie's mechanic shop and parked the car inside the locked gate. She gave the key to her cousin Jide. Guard it closely, she said, handing him 10 crisp 1,000 naira notes. I'll come and pick it up later today. He nodded, eyes wide. Auntie Didi, what's going on? Didi smiled. It's my husband's baby. I'm helping him keep it safe. She went back home, took a long shower and wrote a text. Then she picked up her phone and called Uche, her old classmate, the one who had once called himself a tech-savvy fraud consultant. He answered on the first ring. Madam Didi, long time oh. I need your voice and your confidence, she said. There's a man I want to teach a lesson. I don't know what it will cost, but I'll pay you. What kind of lesson? The lesson he would never forget. And so the plan began. The next morning, Chuka was in his element, fresh from another night of so-called conference activities. He stepped out of the guest house with a small grin and swagger in his step. But his Mercedes was gone. He stood frozen, blinking like a confused goat in the rain. Where's my car? He barked at the half-asleep security man. The man scratched his chest. Oga, now you park am there now. And you no see who carry am? I don't know. I was in the toilet that time. Chuka shook his head, trying to think clearly. Maybe I parked it somewhere else. But deep down, the quiet fear had started to drum. He took out his phone and began calling mechanics, towing companies, even his brother. But nothing. Just before noon, his phone rang. It was an unknown number. When he picked, a calm, chilling voice came out. He said, we have your car, Mr. Chuka. You would have to send us some money before we can get it to you, or else you'll forget it. You have to send us 5 million naira. I'll send you the location. Go and drop it there right now. As anger spiked. You the Grace? Do you know who I am? You must be mad. And the phone went off. He snorted and dialed the police contact immediately. Oga, he said, voice heavy. My car is missing. I parked it at the airport lounge. I parked it at a hotel. Somebody just called me and is telling me to bring 5 million naira before he will release my car. The officer promised to investigate. Forward the number that called you. We will trace him. Chuka felt a surge of control return. Nonsense people. Can you imagine? By Friday, there was still no news. The police gave updates filled with technical jargons and promises. No car. That evening, he arrived home with slouched shoulders and tired eyes. Didi was arranging a boy's school uniform in the sitting room when he came in. He sat heavily. Didi, now wow. She looked up. What happened? My car was stolen at the airport. Her brows raised. Stolen? How? He sighed dramatically. I can't explain. Oh. I
I parked it at the airport. Next thing I get a call from someone telling me that they've carried my car. But I've reported to the police. I've reported everything, but they said they don't have a trace yet. Did he swallowed? You are sure it was in the airport you parked your car? Of course now. Why do you think? Do you think I will lie? She nodded slowly. Wow. Sorry, oh. He stretched out. That car is expensive. Over 18 million. Eh? I don't know what to do. And just then, his phone rang again. It was the same unknown number. He picked it up. The voice was sharper this time. Mr. Chuka, you think this is a game? We haven't received the money yet. Send the 5 million now or forget about your car completely. The call went off. Chuka sat up straight. What is it? Did he ask, folding a shirt slowly. He shook his head. These people are it again, oh. They called. He said I should drop 5 million for them. His eyes didn't blink. What are you going to do? He looked at her. I will not give them any money. I will wait for police to finish their work. Didi smiled faintly and looked down. She already knew the police would find nothing because the car was never stolen. It was parked safely in a compound not far from their house, and she had the key in her handbag. Saturday morning came like an unwanted visitor. Chuka hadn't slept well. The house felt tight, the air heavy. The police had no leads. The officer in charge now refused to pick his calls. Didi moved through the house like a gentle ghost, silent, calm, watching. At exactly 9:47 a.m., the call came again. It was the same voice, this time less patient. Oga, this is your last warning. If you don't send that 5 million now, just forget about that car. We know your house. We know your office. You better don't play smart, except you want your wife to hear about your escapades. Chuka rubbed his forehead. His pride had been leaking slowly, but now it was bleeding. He locked himself in the room. For hours, he paced. He called a friend in real estate, liquidated a small investment he had with them. It was about the 5 million. He took the money to the location they asked him to drop it. Yet, at 5:23 p.m., he heard no word from them. Then later that evening, about 6:30, there was another call from the same unknown number. This time, the man demanded for another 5 million. Last man pounded this car this morning, oh. We had to pay them bribe. Don't let our boys get angry. Chuka snapped. I've already sent you 5 million. Are you mad? Why will you be asking me for another money? You want to milk me dry? Stop shouting there. Do you want your car or not? Chuka threw his phone against the wall. Didi peeked from the kitchen. I hope everything is fine, she asked. He forced a smile. His network. She nodded and went back to her boiling pot. By Sunday morning, the house looked like the setting for a funeral. Chuka was pale, eyes swollen. He called his younger brother in Abuja. Bros, abeg, I need an emergency 3 million. Can you help me? What's going on? His brother asked. It's a long story. I will send back the money. Just help me. I need it urgently. He got the money and dropped it at the same spot the asked him to drop it at. Then another call came. What how much did you drop for us? We asked you to drop 5 million. Eh? You better complete the money. He begged. They insulted him. By Monday evening, Chuka had sent over 30 million to them. He sat outside with his shirt unbuttoned, watching flies gather near the generator. Didi came to sit beside him. Her perfume was soft and calming. You still haven't heard from them? She asked gently. He didn't speak. Pray that the police will find them soon, oh, she offered. He chuckled bitterly. Police? Did he forget those people? We're on our own in this country, oh. She looked at him for a moment. Do you remember when I asked you for money to start catering business? He looked up, shame on his face. You said money was tight. He opened his mouth, but words refused to come. She stood up slowly. Money wasn't tight. You just valued your pleasure more than your partner. Chuka watched her walk back inside, her words haunting him like unpaid debt. And deep in his heart, he knew something terrible. This wasn't just a robbery. This was karma in lipstick and gele. Chuka hadn't shaved in 3 days. By Wednesday, the man who once called himself Mr. Clean and Smart now looked like a dishevelled bus driver who missed his last route. His bank app showed red, his ego was bleeding out, and the ransom voices silent since Monday night, no more calls. It was killing him more than the blackmail. He sat on the veranda, staring at the gate like it owed him an apology. The compound was quiet, except for the occasional buzz of a mosquito daring to ruin his last nerve. And then he heard it. That familiar engine purr. He blinked. It couldn't be! He stood up, walked slowly to the gate. The sound grew louder. The small knock startled him. You dey wait for something? She asked, already knowing. He didn't respond, and just like in a dream, the gate opened. The Mercedes rolled in slowly like a celebrity guest arriving late to a wedding. Behind the wheel was a young man in face cap and shades. He stepped out, handed the keys to Ndidi. She had already packed her bags days before. Everything she needed was in one neat brown box beside the door. Ndidi turned, walked up to Chika and calmly placed the car keys in his hand. What is this? He asked, voice shaky. It's your car, she replied. No, but how? Before he could finish the sentence, she handed him a brown envelope. He opened it. It was a divorce petition, legal, stamped and served. Below it was a note handwritten in calm, cursive strokes. Consider the money you spent as compensation for all the lies, humiliation, and disrespect. I may not have lawyers or luxury, but I have peace now. And darling, peace is expensive. He looked up at her, mouth agape. Did you plan this? She smiled softly. Only a wicked woman will allow Kama to walk alone. I gave her a little help. Without waiting for another word, she turned, walked past her packed bags, picked them up, and exited the gate. She didn't look back. The sound of that gate closing echoed louder in Chuka's heart than any police siren ever could. He sank to the floor, holding the key, the letter, and the shame. And in that moment, he realized this was the conference he would never forget. Years later, the air in Enugu was crisp that morning, the sun lazily stretching out over the rooftops of New Heaven. A bakery sign, Ndi blessed cakes and crafts, hand painted in pastel pink with flowers curling around the corners. Inside, Ndidi stood behind the glass counter, her apron tied neatly around her waist, piping chocolate frosting onto a tray of cupcakes. Half-proof puff was full and proud, her smile warmer than the oven. A little boy burst through the back door, her son, Junior. His school uniform was slightly rumpled, his lunchbox swinging from his waist. Mommy, I finished my homework. Can I eat one small cupcake? Dee looked at him with a mock frown. Small one, oh. If I check and your books are not complete. They are complete, he grinned, already reaching for the softest one. She handed it to him with a kiss on his forehead. Go sit inside, I'll join you soon. As Junior disappeared into the back room, her phone vibrated quietly in her pocket. A message from the landlord. Your rent payment has been received. Thank you. She paused, looking at the message, then at the shop, then toward the sound of her son giggling in the back. She had peace. She thought about her old life only when necessary. Chuka's fate. Last she heard, he had lost most of his clients. The business had crumbled and debts piled for him. Even his so-called friends scattered like rats when the money dried up. His life spiraled quickly and no one heard of him again. And somehow, she never felt anger. Only distance. Only peace. She turned the open sign to close, stepped outside with her head held high, and smiled at the morning sun. Peace was no longer just prayer, it was her lifestyle. The end. And just like that, Didi returned the car with receipts, a divorce petition, and the quiet confidence of a woman who now baked cakes for a living instead of wiping cheating tears. This story teaches us something very important. Not every woman will shout. Some will just package your pride in a nylon bag and move out. And dear men, if you can afford hotel bills, better be ready for the baking business budget too. Now over to you, my wonderful summer squad. If you were Ndidi, would you have taken the car or his sanity? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear from you what you have done differently from Ndidi. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this story. More hot real life stories are loading with drama, tears, lessons, and a little bit of pepper. And remember, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.